Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the At the Mini Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Bag Bert. How you doing, my man?
Doing great. Glad to be here for this mini episode number 3. A lot
Yes,
of goodies,
sir.
a lot of goodies on the docket tonight.
Yeah, we got some good news, and some different news. We're gonna end with 2 video game stories, which I'm a big gamer. I know you used to be. I don't know if you still are.
I do like to follow along. I mean, I don't play as much as I would like to, but then again, I don't watch as many movies as I would love to. There's not a whole lot it's one of those type of things. But always interested to hear in the new news that is coming in the video game front. So very, very cool to be talking about it tonight.
Cool, my man. But let's get started with the first story of the day, my friend. We all know that the Russo brothers were hired along with Robert Downey Jr. The Russo brothers getting $80 million to complete the 2 new Avengers movies. Doomsday is one of them. They'll be completing that, I guess, duel of films. But they actually signed on to stay longer, and they're gonna be directing the upcoming or overseeing the upcoming X-Men franchise. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're a safe set of hands. You know what I mean? They're a safe bet. I don't know if that's the route that Marvel is going. I always like to see somebody new coming in to bring the reins into a brand new, fresh territory. Not saying that the Russo brothers can't do that, but I'm interested to see how it all pans out personally.
I am too. I just hope it's not just thrown together, as a way to do fan service and try to milk money out. I hope Feige is involved and they have a good story to go with it. I also wonder how they're gonna cast. I mean, Wolverine is known as Hugh Jackman. They're like side by side. I know Hugh Jackman has stated that he's kind of one and done now with after the Deadpool 3 film, but I don't know who's gonna take that iconic role. I would like to see it more geared towards the animated series if they can, having kind of like the way the films are going with X-Men First Class and whatnot, but a little bit more deeper story, not just throwing a bunch of characters and having the same group of characters transfer through each story. That'd be kind of cool.
Now, did you by chance happen to check out their movie on Netflix? It was called The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. They got good directing chops. So
Mhm.
it's not to be, they can do the job. The question always for me and everything we probably will ever talk about is where is that script, and does the script match up to their talents pretty much?
Yeah, that's what worries me. And that's for any like Marvel or DC film. DC's just been bombarded. I'm hoping, it's not to go on a mini rant, but I'm hoping the new Batman that's coming out with Robert Pattinson isn't anything like the Joker 2 that came out. So,
Well,
but
one thing I will give what's his name credit for, who's in charge of Guardian James Gunn, I will give him credit for is that he specifically was like, yeah, Joker 2 over here is not part of anything that we're doing over here. He wasn't like, yeah, it's gonna be it's cool, it's part of us. It's the same thing he said about Robert Pattinson's Batman. That is he's got his own Batman that he's going to be coming out with. And again, they're getting ready to release Harley Quinn's new season for DC. And again, Marvel has kind of been working a little bit backward. So hopefully this is a little bit more of a frontward momentum for them.
mhm. Do you think that, they're branching out too much? I mean, like, we just said DC has 2 different Batmans or 2 different Jokers. You got the Harley Quinn Joker, you got, you know, uh, the Robert Pattinson, which is gonna I don't know what the new villain's gonna be, but you have the Penguin in there, and then you have James Gunn coming in that could
Sure.
possibly do something. Marvel now has, they just had Deadpool with that Wolverine. They have the
Well,
X-Men First Class, now they're kind of branching stuff out. Like, do you think there's just too much going on and they should just narrow it down?
well, to be fair, and I'll speak for both. Marvel is like Marvel had a really great thing going. I mean, they're just
Mhm.
pounding out good movie after good movie after good movie after good movie after good movie. And when you have that kind of run of success, you're going to hit a wall How are you going to get out of that? Well, what are they doing? They're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back. They're bringing the Russo brothers back. They're trying to bring back the old formulas, but maybe in a new form. DC, James Gunn comes along and I mean, I don't think if James Gunn was in charge from the beginning, there ever would have been a Joker or a Joker 2, because that is something on the outside that was here before. Same thing with the Robert Pattinson, which to me, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see it, but you know, sometimes things get overly hyped and then it doesn't pan out the way that your vision sees it. I felt that way about Alien Romulus personally this year. I had such big, huge hopes. It's a good movie, but I mean, I was thinking I was going to see the second coming of, this was going to be Alien and Aliens, and it was more, in line with Alien Resurrection for myself. But that's just how some people see things.
Yeah. Hopefully it works out, and it's a good film or a good franchise, and they oversee it, to their fullest. But we just have to wait and see how that goes. The reason that I feel a little, anxious, well, not anxious, more hesitant to say it might be good is in Doomsday, there was all this news coming out saying that Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't going to be in Doomsday, and now it's saying he is going to be in Doomsday, and he said things change. So I just hope they're not just trying to, again, do fan service. That's what worries me is like you try to do too much fan service, then you get the DC films. It has to be a good, I love the way Fig had everything go through the storyline, and we were getting new characters introduced that were giving a little bit of fan service, but they were in there for a reason to be there. Just not just throwing them all together because you have too many characters and they get lost in the shuffle and they kind of lose meaning.
You know what I mean? I hate to put this in like a musical sense of a band that is one of your favorites, but I feel like in the sense of like take the Red Hot Chili Peppers, their last two double albums. I mean, they could have real mailed it in and just came out with like a 12 song, real safe. This is what I want to do. No, they went balls out. Here's everything in all different directions. Like what you like, take what you want, and sometimes that's a good approach. When you see you're bringing back, I keep thinking about Robert Downey Jr. and I keep thinking about our conversation that we had a while ago when he was coming back into the fold. And, he said, I think a quote, the way you kind of said it was like, he was I'm looking good, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to fit the role. And you're telling yourself, I mean, I love Robert Downey Jr., but like he shouldn't have to say that in this role ever. He should have, this role should honestly, but I can imagine that they're begging him to come back almost, but he's not going to say that. Who's going to say that? You know what I mean? Because the truth of the matter is Marvel needs to start heading in the upper direction. I mean, that's really the truth here.
Yeah. So we'll just see how it goes and see, hopefully hope for the best and hope that the Russos have everything, in control and they make the Marvel Studios good again, I guess, or continue to build them off. I mean, they're in a whole new atmosphere now and realm. You got the new Captain America coming out, and then eventually you got the Doomsday video movies coming out. I'm just hoping they bring Sam Raimi back for Doctor Strange 3. But
yeah, I mean, Sam Raimi for anything. Definitely going to bring the movie into a better category than probably most others.
Yeah. Moving on, my friend. A story that is dear to your heart. And when I saw this, I automatically put it up. I saw your wife was talking about it too on Instagram. The 1987 cult classic film, The Lost Boys, is going to be set for a musical Broadway show in 2026. It will feature a score by The Rescues, which is a Tony Award winning score by Tony Award winner Michael Arden, and a book by David Hosbury, a writer and producer on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Chris Hodge. Uh, this is going to be coming out as, I believe, the private invitation only industry presentation of the musical March 14th. And they're going to be talking about this, and it's supposed to be a musical surrounded around one of our favorite films as a kid and one of our favorite films now in The Lost Boys. How are you feeling about this?
I mean, as you can hear, I mean, my wife let out a huge howl, and she didn't even know that you had already sent me the news clip for this, and I was ready to go. I was like, yeah, I know about it. I'm very, very excited because anything Lost Boys, even those sequels they came out with straight to, I was curious to see what they're about. As you stated, being such a huge fan of the Lost Boys, but as I just stated with everything else, there is always just a little hesitation because they've done. I remember when U2 was doing the Spider-Man play downtown. It was just going to be the biggest thing ever. It was the coolest thing. They were doing the music. It was U2. It was a Spider-Man musical. I don't even remember what actually ever happened to that. I just hope this actually pans out because I'm a huge Lost Boys fan. But then you tell yourself, what is this musical really going to entail musically?
Yeah, and the Rescues is actually a rock band known for songs as "My Heart with You" and spots on several TV shows. You would know this better than I would. I don't know who the Rescues are. Um,
Never heard of the Rescues either until doing research for this today.
mhm. uh, and it has well, not former, but Broadway actors and Broadway film actors James Campanello, Marcus Chant, and Patrick Wilson are producing the show. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be good. I wonder if Corey Feldman would try to get a role dancing the moonwalk as one of the frogs. But if they come to Chicago, or I am definitely down to go see this, or if it's a production in Chicago, I am totally down to go see this as a wife date. So me and you bring your wife, and I'll bring my wife
Oh yeah, I
because they
mean,
both enjoy this film, and it's a classic, film throughout my youth and adulthood.
I will do you one better. I will promise you that if we even go to the show, we will get some kind of access to interview somebody to say, hey, I mean, we are a viable podcast. We deserve to talk to, at the very least, the lighting guy for the Lost Boys musical. They'll talk to us. I
So,
don't care. We'll go on the low pole and work our way up, So,
well, you heard it first here. Sugar Baggy guarantees we'll get somebody to talk to if they come to Chicago.
we will, I promise.
Yes, I'm really, really looking forward to this. Hopefully it is good, but things can be good and things can't be good. But I have the best hopes for this one because I want it to be good so bad. Not just
Oh,
because of my love for this thing, but I think it would be kind of cool if they toured around the world for this.
well, you don't really want to. What's the word I'm looking for? One of your favorite things in the world. You don't want it to ever flop. And The Lost Boys is technically one of my favorite things in the whole world. I would definitely put it in the top 50,
Yeah.
which is kind of, I don't know how shallow that is of me. That like, what
No,
else
man.
is 49? That The Lost Boys is that cool, or that what other movies am I putting in here and knocking off in my everyday life? But The Lost Boys is just very cool. And when you hear anything like a musical.
Well, I think too it has enough following that even with the horrible sequels, even though I didn't mind the thirst, the second one was just really bad, but the horrible sequels that came after it, it still had a following enough to make those sequels, even though they're direct to video. I think this can maybe rejuvenate it. My only fear too, Tone, is if this becomes successful, they're gonna want to do a remake.
Yeah. That is always the lurking question for any movie that you enjoy these days.
It's just I hope not, but I can just be hopeful that the Broadway show is awesome. I mean, Wicked was awesome, and I hope this is gonna be, better than Wicked. Yes, I said it.
Yes. Well, we will cross our fingers and hope.
Yes, sir. Another story that popped out this week was that George Clooney and Brad Pitt are supposedly going to return for the new film of Ocean's 14. Now, George Clooney has come out and said that he doesn't think it should be called Ocean's 14. It's just a title that they're giving it right now because it's not the same ocean type of film with the missing of Bernie Mac as well as other cast members who have passed away. This is another thing too where when this was first, coming rumbling in the film rumor mill, Clooney came out and said that he doesn't think they'll make another Oceans movie because of the death of cast members like Bernie Mac. And then of course, Mr. Reiner passed away. Rob Reiner's dad, Carl Reiner passed away. So you losing him Elliot Gold is not getting any younger. He's like in his 80s. It's to me, I'm hoping that it's gonna be a good one, but now I'm reading that they're trying to get the original cast back, which includes uh Julia Roberts as well come back as Tess, along with the other cast members, Elliot Gold and Don Cheeto or Don Cheeto or Don Cheeto, as Guillermo calls him on Jimmy Kimmel. They're trying to get them to come back. Clooney's saying that the script is really, really good, and that's why he's running forward with it. I'm just hoping he's another cash grab, man. What do you think about this?
Again, I would probably. This is, I mean, did you see the original in the movie theater? Do you remember the first time you seen it?
To be honest with you, I didn't see the first one in the movie theater. The first time I saw Ocean's 11 was U of I had a movie night on the quad,
Mm.
and they played Ocean's 11 for everyone, and it
Hmm.
was like this gigantic screen. I remember we went from our dorm, like 11 of us from our floor went from our dorm, and we went and watched it in the quad, and they had like popcorn and everything. It was awesome. But I've never seen the film. That was the first time I watched it, and that was in 2003. And then I saw Ocean's 12 in the theater and was like, wow, it was okay. It was just kind of, and then Ocean's 13, I did not see in theater. I saw that when it came out on DVD.
Um, Definitely again, as it's cool that you bring up those quad experiences. I remember those movies like um 8 Mile was one I remember that they played and the whole thing was packed to the brim with all the Ball State College kids. But to this movie, you know, as you stated, I mean, I hated 12 when it came out, and then when I rewatched it later, I actually enjoyed it more because I had to think of it in a whole completely different picture because I love these actors. Um, I just Steven Soderbergh is I don't know if he will be directing this new, indication, no?
No, David Litch is in talks to direct Oceans. That was just released the 22nd, January 22nd. And David Litch he did Bullet Train.
Mm,
He's in talks to direct the film.
which a lot of people enjoy Bullet Train, and obviously with the Brad Pitt connection there, um these guys like to work with each other. They're friends, and they like to treat, from what I gather, these movies into like, well, you also get to hang out with your friends too. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the way it should be, I guess. I mean, look at Sandler. Sandler has all his friends in all his films. Clooney and Pitt, great actors. They like to work together. I would love if somehow they incorporate Danny DeVito in here because DeVito and Clooney are really good friends.
Call me
That'd
old
be kind of funny.
fashioned though, Yum, but I would much rather hang out with Andy Garcia than Nick Swartzen. But
Oh
that's just
yes, yes. But I'm just hoping it turns out well. I'm worried because again, this is 20 years after 3. But if Clooney is saying the script is good and he's willing to move forward, all I can do is trust him.
everything somewhere between. It doesn't feel as creative as it does, "Let's make some money," sometimes, so I'm hoping it is more in the creative realm, and they, again, have a good script that they're working with, but again, all these guys aren't gonna take the time probably to work on something unless they're gonna get something positive out of it. They're not gonna put together a clunker, you're hoping, at this point, 20 years later.
Yep. I hope it's not a clunker. And if Andy Garcia comes back, that'd be kind of funny if Tony Benedict is back in the world. But and then there was rumors. I know that the sports bums touched on this, but Clooney has gone out and said that there could be a whole Ocean's universe with the scripts and whatnot. And I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, please, no,
Oh god.
that doesn't. I don't want to hear like a bunch of Ocean's universe. There kind of is now with Ocean's 8 when it came out, and that was actually a pretty decent film with Sandra Bullock
Not
in the
bad.
Danny Ocean role. But I still don't know. Is that canon? Is she like related to him or?
Yes, it was, she was, I believe, his sister? Sandra Bullock is related somehow. It's in the beginning of the movie. I don't remember. I only seen it one time when it came out, but I remember looking it up and going, "Oh, that's what that is." But again, not a bad movie, but it's better than 13. I'm not gonna lie to you about 13. I really enjoy Al Pacino's performance. He's
Yeah. Well, I
ridiculous.
mean,
He's
he's supposed to
ridiculous.
be ridiculous.
Well, that's what I love about it. He's, like, so stupidly ridiculous in it.
I get the highest
But
club on the
again,
street.
it's, um I mean, what what do you think? I mean, is this something that you think a lot of people are looking for?
From judging the reaction, I see some happy and some like, "Why?" I don't know how they're gonna replace those iconic characters. Sal was a real, even though he was an older character, Carl Reiner's role was awesome. Then you have Bernie Mac, man, like, his role was great as well. It's just how are you gonna replace those characters and how are you gonna explain they passed away?
Debbie Ocean is Sandra Bullock's name in Ocean's 8. She is Danny's younger sister who was recently paroled from prison.
So it's basically the same story as the first Oceans.
Pretty much. It was again the it was like back to the Lost Boys. It was like Schumacher supposedly had an idea where he was going to do Lost Girls, where it was like they were all female vampires and maybe have like something along in those lines, but it never came to fruition. In this regard, I mean, 20 years later for this type of movie, I don't know. I don't know really when I look at the way audiences are, I don't know if they're even asking for it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Wait, he's dead in Ocean's 8.
Yeah, that's right, 'cause he visits his grave in, like, the beginning.
What the
But
oh, what the I don't know what the alright, that's how this is getting too out of hand. But yeah, hopefully the new Oceans is okay, I don't know. I'm kinda iffy on it. I don't think I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want it. But
well, again,
Clooney's
because you
really
say
set
to
on it.
yourself, 2nd, 3rd, okay. We were pounding out. I'll be honest with you, I'm more excited if they did a 5th, American Pie than I would be if they did this
With
because
the kids? With their kids?
yeah, something. Because honestly, I grew up with those people, and honestly, what are they up to? These guys, like as you stated, Bernie Mac, man, in that first movie, his first scene, I'll never forget laughing so hard in the movie theater when he's like, "My name is Raul," and he points at the badge. I laughed so hard. Bernie Mac was the man. And honestly, we'll just use him as an excuse of why I don't want to see this because he's not in it. No, I don't know. We'll wait till see what the trailer looks
Yeah.
like.
Oh, geez. Moving on, my friend. So my wife is a huge fan of the reality TV series. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of other people's whose wives are fans of the Real Housewives and blah blah blah. Anything with reality TV, my wife is a junkie for that. She calls it bad TV and just kind of lets her mind kind of no go while she's watching some horrible show. I myself love reality TV. I'm more on the Kitchen Nightmares. Gordon Ramsay is my guilty pleasure to watch. I watched all the English episodes. I really love those. Do you have any reality TV shows that you like a lot?
I like both of those type of reality shows personally. I mean, we love the Gordon Ramsay shows, but then if Katie's got on one of those other shows, I love to pick it apart and make fun and make jokes because it's ridiculous. So when you brought this story to the fold, it's like, well, of course, this sounds interestingly ridiculous.
And what we're talking about is Alec and Hilaria Baldwin are going to be in TLC's reality series called The Baldwins.
Ooh.
And there is references to the Rush shooting in this series, which happened in 2021, the aftermath of it. Now, to me, I want to know how real this is. It looks like their kids are going to be all in it. And he has one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 children in this picture. Uh, Alec Baldwin doesn't have the nicest personality of many people. Uh, he's been caught on tape calling one of his daughters a fat pig. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, I
Uh,
do. I was
uh,
his
for
daughter.
his ex-wife, Kim Basinger. He went off on his kid with her. I think they're trying to capitalize on the Rust incident for this, but I don't know how this is gonna run. Like, you can't I don't know if you can make Alec Baldwin likable in the real world unless he's playing a role.
Um, with this, I'm I don't know what
You
other
lost
time
lost for words.
well, it's more of like Baldwin falls into this category where, like, again, like he's got some movies that I know a lot of people have not seen that I have seen, and I just think in his early career, there's some really awesome stuff. And unfortunately, we're now at the later peak of our career where, like tonight, before I joined on, Tim Allen, you had brought him up recently about home improvement. He's got a new show on ABC now where he's another father with Kate Dannings. And we brought up American Pie, Sean William Scott's on this show. But again, these older actors find these roles that they can kind of slip into, and that's what Tim Allen has done. Alec Baldwin sadly has had to make like made for TV movies on small sets that have resulted in shootings, which is a shame because again, my point is that he had some really good roles, and now I always think when an actor is a good actor, you're generally not on a reality TV series of this network. I mean, you're doing it for a couple reasons. You need the money.
I agree with that. You also need the exposure. There was a reality TV series that I did watch that was kind of following an actor, and it was the Van Damme series. It was a Showtime exclusive, and it followed him and his family. I think it was like 7 episodes. I watched the shit out of that because it was Van Damme, and it showed him on like his movie sets doing his thing. I don't know where if Alec Baldwin interests me that enough to want to watch this. I'm pretty sure my wife will watch it and tell me, but like I said, he's not really a likable person from what everything we heard. I mean, you yell at him if you're getting his light. I mean, he yells at you if you're getting his light, which is what he's acting. There's been like several things that have made him not a likable person with fans, etc. I don't know if I would want to watch an asshole like on TV like that. But to each their own. I'm pretty sure there is a market for this. Uh, I just don't know how well it will do.
Instead of watching this, there's something that you should watch because I know you love Fred Ward. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Miami Blues from 1990.
No.
He Alec Baldwin plays a off the chain cop, and Fred Ward's in it. It's just a great movie for that time period, and it's probably a lot better than watching this new series that's going to be on.
Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it as well.
Yeah,
I definitely will check that out instead of this series. But that's your TV news that the Baldwins will be coming out, I believe, this year and February 23rd on TLC
wow.
at 9 p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Good luck, y'all. But moving on, we're going to get into some gaming news to close out the show today. The first is some unfortunate news. Ubisoft has shut down its studios in Leamington, firing 185 employees. This studio was responsible for games such as Star Wars Outlaws, which didn't do too well, Skull and Bones, Avatar, Frontiers of the Pandora, Tom Clancy's Division 2, and Far Cry 5. I was a big fan of Far Cry 5. I really liked that film. It's unfortunate that these studios are closing down, and I think it's kind of taking away some talent from the video game world. I don't want it to be like the film world where you have to get these independent studios again to rise up. A24 has kind of done a great job of doing that. It's have in terms of films, but it just sucks that they're closing down a video game studio, especially with Ubisoft when they just were bought by Microsoft. What do you think about this?
Anytime creative entities are lost, it's I think it's a sad thing because generally, as we were stating, I told the students earlier, I was like, and they just stared at me. I was like, you ever think about a movie like Terminator, where it's got this old technology, but it looks so futuristic if you look at it back in 1982? And actually, to be fairly honest with you, it looks a lot cooler than technology now. Why didn't they take that technology and grow with it and more? So, like Ubisoft, who has had some really great games, instead of like unfortunately growing what they've made great, they've sadly had to scale back, which generally isn't a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shell of its old self. You have Assassin's Creed was being delayed this year. It's just I don't know if they have any good ideas coming forward besides the usual go-to playing the hits. Uh, and maybe that's why they're closing down. Far Cry 6 came out, which was decent, but I don't know. And then the Division 2, their stories delayed. It's just the new DLC. It's just like, what are you doing? Man, I don't know. It's upsetting.
Well, it's a lot of before school starts, I put on a movie, and today I put on, well, ironically, one of our actors that we'll be covering on Friday, Samuel Jackson's in this movie, The
Mhm.
Incredibles. And a movie like The Incredibles takes somewhere like 4 years to make. It takes a year just to build all the models before they get started. The magic in making a video game, at Ubisoft, I mean, now pretty much even an explanation like I did for the movie in a video game, that's going to be lost. It's going to be probably put out a lot quicker, a lot more faster hands, possibly, or not at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, they bounce back these developers and people fired and join another company. Uh, keep it going. I mean, it's not saying like Ubisoft had the greatest games of all time, but they had classics from besides the ones that we mentioned that this studio in particular did. But they had the Far Cry series, Watch Dogs, which is a decent series. You had the Prince of Persia series, a couple of Splinter Cells. You have the Assassin's Creed series, of course. Those series are still big in some way or another, but it's just unfortunate that they want to downsize. And when you start downsizing, your output of your creative stuff kind of deteriorates a little bit.
It's true.
And then to close out the show, my man, a game that I grew up playing on the NES. I found out how to pronounce it through the 1989 film The Wizard, which is Ninja Gaiden. And he goes, Hiya. Uh, I played the 3 games on NES. I loved them. They were the hardest fucking games I ever played in my life. Then when they came out for Xbox, I played them, the first 3 games, and then I played Ninja Gaiden Black Sigma, which is for PlayStation. That was like PlayStation exclusive. They have announced that Ninja Gaiden 4 is almost complete. What do you think about this?
Very cool. Anytime again, again, remember these games right when they were released. What I always remembered was, again, as you just said, I always used to call it Gaiden, and the wizard corrected me. But again, I like being corrected by movies, especially. It's better than people actually telling you. And so the thing about this game is that the graphics are going to be out of this world. I mean, if you just look at a game like WWE 2K24 versus 25, the graphics are already a step up. So a game like this, if you're used to that original number first game, boy, this is going to be like you're actually in a movie.
Yeah, it's looking at the screenshots of it, it looks to be really, really cool. This is gonna be an Xbox Studio, developed game, so I don't know if it's going to be cross, platform. It had from the article I'm reading, it doesn't say anything about platform. It might be an Xbox exclusive, which is a hit to Sony, but, I mean, Sony's gotta start putting out better games, I guess. But, I'm looking forward to it. I will definitely buy it. Will I have time to play it with all the shows that we do and everything else? I don't know. But I will eventually get to it. I mean, I bought Elden Ring, and I held it in my Steam library for over a year, and then I finally played it after the expansion came out, like 6 months later. So, I finally played that and beat that and put 300 hours into it. So I'm when it comes to gaming, I love it. I just when I have time is when I do it. But I am really, really looking forward to this. The story of Ryu Hayabusa, it's been through my childhood, and I just wanna see because to me, Ninja Gaiden 3 was kind of a let down a little bit. It wasn't as good as the, previous 2 that came out, the newer ones. I'm hoping this kinda, like, goes back to the old formula and making it a, great, great game franchise, and maybe someday it will be a film franchise, you never know.
Never know. Just never know.
Yep, so stay on the lookout for the Ninja Gaiden 4 release. It's about 75% ready, so they're pretty sure they'll be having probably a trailer, maybe, this year. Xbox might have a showcase for it, but we don't know the other specifics of it. It's just 2 little gaming news stories I wanted to talk about, so we might talk some gaming on here because they all are part of entertainment, and we talk entertainment stuff on the at the mini show. My man Tone, do you have anything to plug before we're out of here?
Yes. Number one, just this past Monday, we dropped the brand new Hook Up on Music episode where we honored the loss of the great Garth Hudson of the band, and we also talked about some Beastie Boys, Exodus. Coming up this week, we've got fellow Penguin Brian joining me. I have told him to go over to his massive record collection and pick out 5 albums. And I don't know anything about these albums that he's bringing. He's going to surprise me. He's going to see if he can stump me and see what I know, what I don't know.
We top
And
weights.
yes, probably, which that will easily be a home run for me out of the park. Sometimes I think about this real quick, like on the show last night, like, and I've done this with like friends, like, should I pretend like I don't know it? Like,
No, be
oh,
authentic,
no,
man.
I don't know. I know you're going to say that, but it's just sometimes as a human being, you never be like, well, I know that, I know that. But again, please tune into that. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm that like I understand why people do it like for clicks and downloads, and I'm just gonna be me.
Well, I
Might
mean, it's like, it's Elliot Gould, okay?
Mhm,
But like, do you tell somebody like if they don't do, like, I'm just not that type of guy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to
mhm.
be, because I feel like it's rude. So like, the truth of the matter is
Be rude, damn it. No.
well, that's it too. You get more
No.
further if you're rude sometimes.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying in terms of like I don't know if I can fake like engagement. That's
Oh,
just me.
I know that about you. You're really good at being like, bah, bah, bah. Me, because of my job, I gotta be like, oh yeah, Johnny, he's not the worst.
But but yeah, be sure to check us out on Friday. We're doing a deep dive into Samuel L. Jackson's career at 8:35 on the At the Show podcast. We will be live on the YouTubes at the Statistic Penguin Studios YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out and leave some juicy comments in the comment section. And we'll be seeing you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.